Chapter 4, Lesson 9, and I'm on page 247. Today we're going to multiply by a multi-digit number. And once we understand the regrouping and multiplying that smaller factor by all of the digits, it's the same strategy whether you're multiplying by hundreds or whether you're multiplying up to millions. It's just those bigger numbers look a little bit scarier. You can use partial products to multiply by a multi-digit number. Now, before I read the example, this does look like the standard algorithm, but it is a little bit different, so don't race ahead yet. Example 1. Today is Laura's birthday and she is 9 years old. Except for leap years, there are 365 days in 1 year. How many days old is Laura? So in order to answer that, I need to know she's 9 years old, and they tried to trick us by putting it in word form. 365 days in a year. Those are our facts we need. And the question we need to answer is, how many days old is Laura? So before I start my math, I am going to estimate, because that helps me determine if my answer is reasonable. I'm not going to estimate the 9, I'm going to estimate to the hundreds place. And when I underline my hundreds place and circle the 2, I see 36. And 36 is going to round to 40. And that 5 is going to go to 0. Everything to the right of the rounding goes to 0. So now I have 9 times 400. And you hopefully can see the basic fact. 9 times 4 is 36. And so 9 times 400 is 3,600 or 3,600. Okay, so that's our estimate, and that's what hopefully our answer when we're done will be close to. Now, you want to do the regrouping like we did in the last lesson, but this is slightly different. They do this way. 9 times 5 is 45, so they're regrouping to the bottom, sort of, which is different, but it's another valid strategy. Now we're doing 9 times 60, not just 9 times 6. Remember, we're in the tens place, so it's 9 times 60. So our basic fact is 9 times 6, which is 54, which makes 9 times 60, 540. And now I'm going to multiply 9 times 300, and my basic fact is 9 times 3, which is 27. But I need to remember my place value because it is in the hundreds place, so I need to add 2 zeros because I'm multiplying not by 3 but by 300. Now I'm just going to add these columns of numbers. So I've got 5 plus 0 plus 0, 4 plus 4 plus 0 is 8, 5 plus 7 is 13, standard addition, 2 plus 1 is 3. And they've got it written out. They took 365, 365, and you notice 45 and 45, and 540 here, and 540 here, and 2,700, 2,700. So this is another way to show the area model, but in a way that looks sort of like the standard algorithm. So our estimate was 3,600. Our actual answer is 3,385, which, considering how far up we rounded, is not bad. So our product, 3,385, is close to the estimate, 3,600. And what I meant when I said by how far up we rounded, 36 is closest to 40, but it's still 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. It's still 4 tens away. So that's why if this was 39, our estimate would be a lot closer to our actual product because our estimate is closer. So that's what I meant when I said that. Now, example 2 on page 248 is much more like what we did in the previous lesson, lesson 7, I believe. And that's with the regrouping going up above the next place value. So they've just got no word problem. They've just got 3 times 1,175. And 3 times 5 ones is 15 ones. We have to regroup 15 ones as 110 and 5 ones. So 5 ones and 110. Now I'm going to do 3 times 7 is 21 tens. I'm going to regroup twice, which is kind of confusing. 2 tens. So I'm going to have 2 tens over here. And the 1 there. Next step, I'm going to multiply my hundreds place. 3 times 1, but that's not the end of it. I need to add in the 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 more makes 5 hundredths. Unfortunately, we don't have to regroup that spot. 3 times 1,000 is 3,000. So our product is 3,515. Solve the standard algorithm way. And at the bottom of the page it does say to check for reasonableness, and a hint about that is in, that was a bad circle, in your talk math. So you do need to check for reasonableness, and how you're going to do that is kind of explained when you talk about the talk math. Now when you get to your independent practice, some of these will have regrouping in the ones place and some of them will not. So you can tell pretty quickly whether you're going to be needing to regroup because you should know your basic facts. Also, you'll have some of those equations with the variable as the answer. You'll also have some here, and you have an unknown and you have an unknown answer. But pay attention because in the problem it gives you what you need. So each of these that has an n in it, it gives you what n equals, and you're going to replace n with that in order to solve. Also, when you get to the bottom, you're going to have to do 2 equations and then do the comparison, whether it's greater than, less than, or equal to, after you've done your multiplication. So pay attention for that. Also, on your problem solving, number 21 and 22 both go up to the thousands place. And like I said when we started, it's exactly the same procedure. They've just added on another place value. So continue on with the same version of multiplication. You don't just bring these thousands down. You have to multiply by the other number in the equation. So pay attention. It's not going to be any different just because it goes up to the thousands place. This one, I would strongly encourage you to stack it and write it up and down so that you can see exactly what it is that you're trying to find. Let me set that up. So when you reset this equation, it should look like a neat version of this, although please notice I did a perfectly straight line here. Thank you very much. Anyway, the numbers are written in columns so that when I'm multiplying, I'm keeping my digits straight and not making the number bigger, have too many or too few place values. But this is this equation just set up stacked instead of written across, which hopefully will be easier for you to solve when you get to number 23 on page 250. Thanks.